Hello to everyone and welcome to our presentation. We are Best Team composed by Elena and Elwin, and we are presenting an idea to solve a problem in the challenge area knowledge. The outline of our presentation is basically where we explain the basics and what is the problem we are trying to solve, how we are approaching this problem and what is the solution that we propose, and why is this important, why we are doing this. We'll start with the what. Basically, our material-based economy is now transformed into a knowledge-based economy. As much knowledge as a country or a society has, better or more empowered it is. So a simple statement can be transformed into a triple, which is basically subject, predicate, and object. And basically every statement that we speak can be transformed in this triple. In this case, we have Jose Maria Argueda's date of birth, 1879. So this is understood by a human, but we want to go further and we want to go to make this statement or triple understandable by machines. So we have to transform this into an RDF triple, which is a standard model for data interchange on the web. So for that we have to add some schemas, vocabularies, in order to make it interpretable by machines. So how basically works the web? Websites are containing semantic annotations, which are machine-readable format data, and these web pages are crawled and fetched by search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo, or Yandex, and they basically crawl our data and they store it in a knowledge graph. So once they store this knowledge graph, they can show this information or represent it in a specific knowledge panels. When a user Googles for Jose Maria Arguedas, Google will return this small knowledge panel with the concrete information about this person. So this is the basic idea. So now what is the problem? That there are no semantic annotations in minority languages on websites, so Google cannot retrieve the semantic annotations. Therefore, they will not present the Quechua knowledge panels, basically, in minority language, or knowledge panels in minority languages. So we don't have semantic annotations, and we will not get knowledge panels in minority language. So the problem we want to solve is the absence of information in minority language on the web and the lack of machine-readable format in minority languages. In this, our use case is the Quechua, but it can be extrapolated to any other language. So how this problem relate to your challenge area and the overall focus of the hackathon? Well, knowledge panels are used by search engines to present information, and having access to these knowledge panels in any language creates favorable conditions for knowledge sharing and dissemination. And every person that has access to internet can have the opportunity to read and share knowledge in their mother tongues. So not only for the English or Spanish speakers or more well-known languages. Now, how we are trying to tackle this problem or solve this problem? So basically we are trying to generate semantic annotations in minority languages, and they can be easily copied into the websites, and then the rest is done by Google or by any search engine that can crawl the data in our websites, and they can store in their knowledge graphs, and they can present knowledge panels in a specific language, in all the languages as possible. Well, we create our solution, and this solution is based basically in some technology like a Wikidata knowledge base, where we can get data in Quechua language. Then we also use some technology like Shackle, which is W3C recommendation. So it's well known in the academia and the industry for verifying that the data is or the data conforms to specific constraints. Then also we use some programming language like a Python in order to make it executable, and we store this in a Google Colab. that you can access through this link, and it shows step by step how to proceed with this approach. And why we are doing this? Basically, the language or content languages for websites has shown that English, for example, has 60% of language or content on internet. But what about other languages like my mother tongue, which is Quechua or Aymara or any other Central American languages? So we are not really represented on the web, and we are not generating content on Quechua language on websites. So we have to do something for this. Another issue is that, or why we are doing this, is because we don't feel represented on the web, on the internet in general. So we are kind of forced to browse the web in other languages like English or Spanish or any other language. So if we, for example, start to provide content and semantic annotations in minority language like Quechua, we will appear in this table, because if we provide this content in Quechua and machine-readable data in Quechua, the personal assistance companies like Amazon Alexa or Siri or Google Home, they will have our knowledge, they will have our data, and they will start to work how to represent, how to build dialogue systems based on our language. So what are the next steps? So there's a couple of examples that I started to play on, and I'm creating some personal assistants in Quechua language based in a Quechua knowledge graph, Quechua language based knowledge graph. And also I created some chatbots that can interact and ask or answer some specific questions in Quechua. So thank you for your attention, and if you have time you can see these demos on YouTube. Thank you for your attention.